Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deep Drop.
Hang on.
What?
Just hang on.
What happened?
I got this.
What are you doing?
I got this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deep Drop. My name is Adam Ring, and sitting across from me is Luke McCredden. And it would be about this time in the podcast where Luke would throw to me and ask me what the Deep Drop is. We're not doing any of that business because we have a very special episode coming to you now. So, Luke, I haven't told you.
What's going on?
But I have organised a special guest. This is not going to be a standard Deep Drop episode. I've organised a guest. It's been a massive week for us, and by us I mean you. And you've been away gallivanting all over the world, and I've been on the road for work. This is the first time we've caught up pretty much all week.
Yeah.
This episode will be coming out late because it's special. I've organised a guest.
You've thrown me. I don't know what's going on.
It's all good. I got this. So, listeners of the Deep Drop, our special guest for this week is my co-host and your host of the Deep Drop, Luke McCredden, who has been over in Japan this week, and we have caught up for a total of about half an hour since you've been back, and I cannot wait to hear everything about what's happened. I'm sure I'm going to have a trillion questions on how their market relates to ours and how your trip went. So, mate, I'm going to host you.
Okay.
You are going to be the guest of the Deep Drop. This is all about you, my friend.
I love the intro. You should do intros more often. It's kind of nice just sitting back.
I don't know.
No, very good. Hey, good to be back. I will say this straight off the top. Why are we wearing hoodies? It's the middle of Feb. Why are we wearing hoodies? But let's not start on a negative. Good to be back. It has been a big week. We've briefly spoken, as you mentioned, which was probably me half delirious on the way home from the airport, I think. Mm-hmm. But it's good to be back on the Deep Drop mics, and you know, I feel like the community was still well and truly in touch while I was abroad, Adam, and hearing lots and seeing lots of cool stuff come across the socials. But yeah, good to be back. It's been a week away in Japan, Adam. We headed over as part of the Anaconda crew to Osaka, where the one of the bigger, sort of most important fishing trade shows of the world are this time of year. So it was great. First time in Osaka. I know you've been there before.
Yes, been there once.
And it was great. You know what we're like. We're just massive nerds when it comes to tackle. So, didn't have to twist my arm much to get me over to that show. But it's always one of those ones where you don't really know what to expect. Even iCast, we spoke about that. It's like, I know it's going to be big, but what are we in for here? And you sort of have your socks blown off as you walk in the door. This was similar, but it was same but different, if that makes sense. Big setup,
okay.
Lots of people.
So big setup. So not just after.
No.
No offense.
And I don't mean to laugh. Yeah, no offense. We're a smaller population, so you sort of take that into consideration. But no, it's spread out over. I was saying to someone the other day, it was kind of day one was hard to gauge the size of the show, given that, like, iCast, for example, is in one huge room basically, and massive, and you can't see the back wall. It's that big, but. This one, similar to, say, like China Fish, was broken up into different arenas or different sort of buildings. So it's, I think there were like four buildings this covered, and pretty significant.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So their trade show is 4 arenas worth of stalls.
Yeah, and to give anyone an idea, I suppose, if anyone's, I know it's typically just trade, but been to maybe the public day at AFTA. I think AFTA would be... actually, I don't really know. Maybe a quarter.
The size of the Shimano stand.
Maybe a quarter of one of the rooms.
Japan.
Yeah.
So all of the Australian trade show would be the size of the Shimano stand in Japan.
Maybe a quarter of one of the rooms. So they're big. It's big. And, again, similar to, I suppose, iCast, the stands are big, and we'll probably, no doubt we'll get into some of it, but heavily dominated by, obviously, the Japanese brands, Daiwa, Shimano, So this is their time to shine. It's in their home country, so they go big with their stands, although they go big in the States too. But, And yeah, so it was cool. And obviously there's local brands that you never heard of as well, and some brands that are here in Australia in a smaller way, but over there they're massive. So it's gauging the fishery, gauging the market, gauging the trade. It's really that side of it I really love. Just getting an idea of, okay, the big dogs here are ... And maybe we can get into that a bit later as well. But, we did some probably 7 or 8 store visits, fishing tackle stores too. That's kind of part of the reason we go over as well, is to check out, what retail is like in other parts of the world, which is always, it's for me, it's almost, and maybe it's because of the field we're in, ads, but it's almost as important and exciting as these trade shows, because it's no surprise Japan do all this stuff really well.
Yeah.
And the stores...
It's a pastime. It's a legitimate pastime and sport for them.
Massive.
They love fishing.
Yeah.
It's very different, kind of different to some of the stuff we do here, but I don't even know where to start. I've got questions about the trade show. I've got questions about the shops. So let's start trade show. That was the primary reason you're over there.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard about the size of it. It's ridiculously big. What are some of the bigger players? Obviously, Shimano and Dial we know. What are some of the bigger players that we currently have in Australia and are obviously known and respected here, but are absolute juggernauts over there? Was there anything there that you walked in and thought, I didn't think they were this big?
Well, it's not so much I didn't think they were that big, but you sort of you see how big they are in different parts of the world, if that makes sense. So Yamashita is the number 1 squid jig brand in Japan, and it is absolutely everywhere. So yeah, they have a big display at the show, and then equally, as we talk through maybe some stores later, they're always a big presence. But then at the show, and again comparing to say Australia, where Fuji, a rod component, is kind of just tucked away in the corner as a little thing, has probably one of the biggest stands at the whole show.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, massive.
That's surprising. It's surprising, but not surprising.
But not,
yeah, because even in Australia, the majority of your favourite rods in Australia would be using Fuji components.
100%. Yeah.
But from an end consumer, you don't walk into a shop and really give too much of a shit about their range of Fuji, only because we're only using it to replace a tip or a guide, or there's a few shops that have a few
bit of a range,
rod building type stuff, but it's not huge here. So is rod building? I guess is private rod building big over there?
I don't know. It was hard to gauge. We spoke about it while we were there, because on and we'll get into this in a sec, but there's the trade show is a 3-day event, and only one of those days is trade, and there's actually 2 public days. Now, don't quote me on it, but the numbers I was hearing at the time was 60,000 people come through the show. And on the public days, the Fuji stand was really busy because they had demonstrations, and they had people there literally building rods and rewrapping guides and doing all that sort of stuff. So I think it must be fairly significant. But again, hometown brand, obviously, a proud brand there. Some of the other ones that brought back some memories, not that it doesn't exist anymore, but it certainly was bigger once upon a time, was Yozuri and Jewel. Had big displays of product at the show, which was cool. I've always thought Jewel and Yozuri have been a great looking lure.
Yep.
Across the ranges, but probably not as big here as even in the States. Yozuri is massive, but never really got that to that level here, and probably maybe was a bit bigger a few years back. But so there's that. There's a lot of rod brand, like companies or brands that we hadn't heard of, or brands doing rods that we weren't aware of. And not so much I think the enthusiasts will be well aware, but there's some lure brands that you would just associate with lures, but over there had a full display of rods, and you go, like Norries, for example.
Yep. Interesting.
No lures on the stand at all. It's just rods.
Oh, yet here we pretty well only know them for lures.
Yeah, so there's a fair bit of that, which was kind of cool too. I think the thing that I liked about my initial thoughts about the show was it's probably just purely as a consumer and a angler, it's a more relatable show than iCast, if that makes sense. So there's a lot more. Okay. Yeah, a lot more in that Japanese market that's kind of relatable to our own fishery, if that makes sense. But a massive, it's a huge thing. There was a massive amount of these, and this is, I don't know if you've ever heard of this ads. I think it's AU fishing.
Yep. Yeah,
the rods are like 11 meters, 9 to 10, 11 meters long.
Yep, and you can hold them in 2 fingers. They're feather light. They're hideously expensive.
Crazy. Yep. I picked up a rod at one stage. It was $10,000.
That's insane.
What?
Like, that's ridiculous.
And again, chatting to some of the guys, sort of, about that stuff. That whole market, every element of that fishery is top dollar, as in the insane. AU fishery. Yeah,
because AU are a tiny species. They're not in any way, shape, or form a sports fish.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a question.
Literally just poling them.
But it's funny. I've got a question. I don't know anything about AU fishing, but what I do know is to catch AU, you use live AU.
Yeah,
How do you get your first AU?
Yeah. What came first, chicken or the egg? It's a good question. Do you buy it?
You've got your $10,000 pole. You kit it out in all your accessories.
There's also lures which we would look at and go, oh, it's a 80 mil, 100 mil jerkbait, hard body, but they're not. They don't have trebles or anything. They've got like a small assist off the back with a tiny treble on it. Which
that's how you get your first AU.
Maybe that's how you have to catch it on a lure first. Anyway, that fish, and to be honest, I didn't dive into the depths of that. That's a massive fishery from from the outside looking in, because it was everywhere.
I'd ideally love to sit down with an avid AU fisherman and ask what the appeal is, because they're essentially just mullet. Like, if you were to translate it to our own,
but then we got shown this fish because one of the, it might have been, I don't know, one of the stands had these big rods, and I said, "What are you targeting with these?" Sort of expecting to know the answer, but there was this other fish that was like almost trout looking.
Oh, okay.
And I was, oh, cool. And then, how do you land it? Because I'm thinking you hook up on this 11-meter rod, and then what? You just fling it across the.
It's like reverse pole vaulting.
That was cool. Another brand you talk about, like the stands that don't necessarily get the showtime here that's over there. Gamakatsu had one of the biggest stands as well, and again,
that kind of makes sense.
The bulk of their stand was rods, and I'm like, okay,
oh no shit, okay,
yep.
No way. What sort of rods? Blue water rods?
Everything.
Really?
Yep.
So Gamakatsu, as we know in Australia, one of the biggest hook manufacturers,
yep,
most popular hooks in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
You went to a trade show in Japan, went to the Gamakatsu stand and saw more rods than hooks.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's fucking wild.
They still had, obviously, heaps of hooks and the terminal stuff on display. And that, but yeah, the rod range, I had no idea.
No way.
So it seemed like it was a pretty extensive range as far as like what it covered. And they had those big, giant, bloody 11-meter poles or whatever. So it was good. It was good. I love that shit, mate. You could get lost in those shows for hours. In fact, you do. You sort of look at the time and go, fucking hell.
Yeah.
It's 3 days later. No.
You're disappointed when you've got to walk on and actually do some business, because you could just walk around and just engulf yourself in all the coolness.
They had a separate building that wasn't open on the trade day, that opened purely just for the public days. And we went in for a look, and it was just going nuts. And they had bluefin tuna being butchered, like being cut up and selling it on the there. And I don't know what it is. There's some things that are so satisfying to watch. And I'll give you 2 examples. I love watching on YouTube really good drummers play drums.
Yeah, nice.
Satisfying.
Yeah.
Really good golfers. Like, I think there's something satisfying about watching a really good. and then watching someone like a proper talent, carve or slice or fillet a fish.
Yeah,
So
read the fishmonger.
satisfying.
I watched the shit out of that guy.
Oh, these guys with these bluefin, it was unbelievable. We stood there for ages watching them. But yeah, so that was kind of cool. But then there was also like this whole kids section, which I thought was so cool, and the amount of kids there was awesome, like little kids.
Yeah.
There were two. This probably shows the size of these buildings, these rooms. Two huge tanks, or almost like those pools you can buy and just set them up in the backyard.
Yep.
They were like them, but probably 20 metres long and 20 metres wide. Two of them with trout in them, swimming. And the kids would line up, and every every hour or whatever, they'd take them in, and there'd be people helping them, and these kids would get to catch fish or whatever, and then take them home. So
that's awesome.
yeah, it was unreal. So heaps of that stuff, and some retail in there as well for the public days. But I think, I think for me it was really cool. There was a little bit of talk around. Actually, caught up with. This won't mean much to many people, but you and I caught up with our old mate Brett Wilson.
Yeah,
who,
nice.
Was a big time player for Shimano for many years. Who's with Jackson now, so he was over at the Jackson stand and caught up with him, and he mentioned that there was a few players not at the show, which is a bit disappointing, like Jackal and Megabass duo. So that was a bit of a shame.
Okay.
I was keen to check out the displays of them because as you get around the stores, like some of those, those Japanese brands are prominent, like they're big time. So, so it was good. It was good. There was a little clip I think that got posted on the Anaconda socials, or it's about to or something, which is just a bit of a run around, following us around. But you can sort of get the scale of the joint looking at that too. You know what I love? I love a big screen. I love a big screen.
Talk to me. Big screen.
This huge Daiwa stand had this like an MCG size scoreboard screen. And
So good.
you just find yourself standing there watching it. It's unreal. Big screen with good fishing content, like high quality fishing films. Oh,
Yeah, okay. Well, those that listen to the Deep Drop regularly know our thoughts on fishing films and where we think that should go.
Yeah.
Did you see anything before we move on to your tackle shop tour? Did you see anything from the majors that you thought was super exciting that we haven't seen in Oz?
I think we're about to. Well, we're sort of started seeing some new reel releases from some of the majors now, and there's a few more to come. Which are, as we've said before, the reels are just getting sexier. High end reels are just getting sexier, and so there's a bit of that. I think a lot of people these days see a lot of this stuff online early anyway. But yeah, there's certainly some.
And well, we've seen new Certates and stuff that's been all over the internet, and I know there is essentially 2 release windows even in Australia now, where we used to only have one, but obviously now a lot of these companies have globalized, like the Shimanos and Daiwas of the world, so we do get the second release window, which I think is actually really cool, and I think it's a beautiful thing for our industry so that we just don't get bored. You know what I mean? We've got those 2 release windows.
I think what's great about it too is that we can tap into these markets a lot easier, if that makes sense. Like with that globalization you mentioned, like it's all of a sudden you can see stuff at these shows and go, in a position like that we kind of find ourselves in, we could question whether we can get that stuff through our local, distributors, which is cool. But yeah, there's heaps of new, I suppose, lure technology, the technology part of it, and this is where Japan dominate. The technology in rods particularly is out of control, and we're already in this amazing era of rod and reel technology. But like some of the stuff that they were talking about, and by all means we were loosely translating a lot of it, but some of the stuff they were talking about in the rod building, I suppose, laboratories.
It's pretty much what they are.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So that's interesting because our market here, and please tell me if you think I'm wrong, but we are so reel driven.
Yeah. Or, we've had that discussion. What's more important?
Yep. We love the sexiness of a reel. We love the technology of a reel. That's where we go. Dude, let's be real. We don't really give a fuck about rods.
I agree. I agree, and I think it's funny because I caught up with a fella, Tom Slater, his name is, who has worked in the Australian tackle industry for a long time. He's with Daiwa at the moment and has recently moved to Japan to work for Daiwa. So he's kind of in the absolute thick of it. So we caught up with him, which was awesome, and he was explaining the intricacies between rods. And it's not like, one example he gave was at home, Adam, you and I would probably have a couple of, let's just as an example, a couple of 2 to 4 kilo rods, which effectively we do squid, whiting, brim, flatties. You know what I mean? Like,
yep, everything.
And then within that, the brim rod is we just kind of do everything with. Now, don't get me wrong, and we're probably guilty of having excessive rods, and we use them for different stuff because we've got them.
Yeah.
From what I understand, is in Japan there is a rod for everything, and I'm talking breaking it down to, let's talk about brim. Not that it's a massive market in Japan, although it should be, because they've got unbelievable size brim everywhere. It would be a rod for almost, and this might be getting extreme, but when I sort of said this example, Tom's like, you're not far off. Almost a rod for every weight jig head they would throw around. So you would have a soft plastic, and what you would often tie on probably a 1/8 jig head adze and chuck that around, fairly common. You would then pick up the next rod, which is more suitable for a 1/12.
Okay.
Fuck.
Dude, I love this shit. We've loosely gone here. We did have a conversation on the drop about using actually rod weight ratings rather than line ratings.
Yeah.
We'll generally choose a rod off a line rating. We can see a 2 to 4 kilo rod and we'll know within reason exactly what that fishing rod's going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that something for the Australian market and the Australian consumer? Is that kind of a next step in the evolution of recreational fishing in in Australian fishing? Because I did get a little bit obsessed with this as a thought process a little while ago. We tend to, it's such an Australian way. Near enough's good enough for most of the time.
Should be right.
Near enough's good enough. But
we've picked up, you and I've been with you when we've picked up rods chasing kingfish going, it's probably a bit light, but fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. And still tie a lure on that's way too heavy. So is it the next step? Because the fact of the matter is everything else is already so far and away fine-tuned for a specific purpose. Take a hard body, for example. It isn't as simple these days, and it can be, but if you really want to delve into it, it's not just as simple as cast and wind. These lures are already tuned to perfection. But in order to get maximum, you kind of need a rod to control it.
Yeah.
Is it the next step for Australia? Do you think it's something that could take off to the point where we are absolutely really honing down and thinking about what we're doing from a fishing aspect?
Yeah.
And making sure that every single piece of our gear, including the fishing rod, is fine-tuned to that application?
I reckon. And I think it's kind of like, will it happen overnight? I don't know. But I think it is probably the next stage of it. Because I've also noticed a trend in well, maybe it's global, but certainly in Australia, where a lot more lures have the weight of the lure featured more prominently as opposed to the length or the...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So people are starting to think that weight's probably more important in a way because I need to know what I've got to use to chuck it round. And then you go look at your rods and you go, okay, that's... Yeah.
Do you know what I'm thinking? Even for rods that are designed for the Australian market, I can almost see how they'd be developed for the Australian market. 7 foot 2 piece, wave it around and go, 3 to 6 grams, I reckon. put it on the tag,
Yeah.
slap it on the shelf, off you go. Because when's the last time? And listen, you and I worked in tackle shops forever. It was never part of the game where we'd look at the weight rating of a rod and go, okay, well, what are you doing? Okay, well, I'm doing this. And it's not always that simple. Take our bait fisher, for example, and it's a huge market. We have a very unique and strange system in Victoria, in Western Port, that is ultimately pretty shallow and very tidal. So, okay, we'll take a standard 10 to 12 kilo rod. It doesn't like having 16 to 20 ounces of lead hanging off it. So I wonder, in that extreme circumstance, I wonder what a Western Port fishing rod, your snapper rod, would look like if it was weighted specifically to hold up like 16 to 20 ounces.
Yeah. Broomstick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because ultimately, in a fishing rod, we like to look at a fishing rod and go, what size fish am I looking at? What size fish? It's actually not really about that. It's about controlling and getting maximum casting distance, leverage, everything out of your lures or your baits. Catching the fish is just, it's the byproduct.
But it's the first thing, though, isn't it? It's like, what I need a brim rod. You go, okay. But you don't think to go, I'm casting like vibes. I'm a winter viber for brim.
Yeah.
So you go, okay, well, that changes things a little bit. But you don't. You just go, it's a 2 to 4 kilo. Go. So
I just use the same rod it's the same rod. I'll chuck a 16-ounce jig head, a 1/16 ounce jig head into a snag. I'm just going to use the same thing.
And listen, there is a very, very compelling argument that that's fine.
No, that's the thing. It is fine.
Yeah.
It is 100% fine. It's been fine for us forever.
But there would be a vibing rod in Japan as opposed to a soft plastic lightweight.
But how much more enjoyable would vibing be if you had a rod that cast it more efficiently for more distance and less fouling, whether that's through taper or length or whatever it may be, rather than just trying to muscle this tiny little 35mm vibe on a 2 to 4 kilo rod?
And it doesn't stop there. That's one example. But it's like, it's the same as, say, what were we looking at? Oh, kingfish. Because land-based kings are big in Japan. So we're looking at the rods there, and it's like, this is for that, this is for that, this is for that. But ultimately, it was all stick baiting. But it's, no. Yeah, this is the stick baiting section of rods for kingfish. This will do that, this will do... And you're like, what if I just want to tie on a sticky and just go? And it's like, oh, no.
No, you
think
don't.
about it way more than that, mate. Like, oh, shit. I'm out. Yeah. Is it a sinking stick bait or floating? Does that matter? Absolutely. Oh, shit. I've been doing it wrong for so many years.
Doesn't it show you we don't know so much? We just don't know so much because we only look at things on a... We love versatility.
Yeah.
With what we do and what fishing is in this country, realistically, it's all about versatility. Mm-hmm. The more versatile generally means more sales. We don't... I still can't help but think, though, there is some sort of market there. I feel as though we're ready, Luke. I feel as though we're ready as a country to go, let's nail this shit down.
Let's go deeper on this shit.
Let's turn this into a proper obsession.
Yeah. If it wasn't
I want to efficiently cast every lure I've got. And if it means I need every rod, let's fucking go.
If fishing wasn't already ruining your life, it's about to.
It's about to.
If it's not enough of a head fuck now, strap in.
Yeah. You think... For all of our wives, girlfriends, partners out there that think we've got too many fishing rods, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get worse.
You know, it's not a bad time to be in the shed market, selling sheds, because there's going to be a lot of sheds sold.
Rod sheds. Do we need a shed company to specifically tackle rod storage?
Rod storage. It could be narrow, like as long as it's high. We want to be able to keep the rods in one piece. So we need height in the shed. Yep. We need a nicer high door. We don't want to be snapping tips on the way in.
Nope.
But we don't need much
tackle sheds.
We don't need much
tackle sheds.
Width to it. You know what I mean? It's effectively just rod fucking stands all the way down the sides, and it may be a tackle bench up the end.
No. No. Tackle bench up the end that's surrounded with custom shelving that all of our 36 and 3700 size tackle trays slot in their own specific spot.
Shit.
And then you've got other shelving where we can sit our tackle bags. These are tackle sheds. These are sheds aimed specifically for fishers. Rod racks built in. Lure. Would you go lure cabinets or
I don't mind the racks where it's like you slide the trays in and out of, just fucking floor to ceiling high racks.
Yep.
Maybe they spin. They're on like a turntable, so you can have 3 or 4 back to front.
Back and front.
It's just space saving. I'm just space saving.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's about efficiency.
Maybe there's some sort of drop down from the ceiling, which is your reel storage. You lock the reels in with a reel seat, and it just flips it up into a safe place. No dust, no shit, nothing.
I like that.
Yeah,
up into like a padded.
Yeah, secure, almost like think upside down ute toolbox, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you hit a button, it flips down, and you sort of just lock the reels into place just by their reel seat, and then it just flips it back up, and happy days.
Holds them perfectly. Beautifully.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we also need above the bench, we need some sort of slat wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
With pegs, because you want your easy grab and go leaders and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite suitable to put in trays, but you can peg them.
Is that
and a combo section? A combo section.
Okay. Yeah.
Just for those combos that you use
grab and go daily.
More often than not.
Yeah.
The game fishers, they're not going to want to take their Tiagras and shit.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind maybe the peg wall could also be for soft plastics, and to encourage buy bulk, get a stack of them, load them up on the pegs, and grab as you need. You don't need
buy an outer, like a bloodworm grub.
Yeah.
You're always going to need
it.
Just buy an inner, or buy an outer of 4.
4 or 6, whatever it is.
Give us 4. 3 on the peg, 1 in the box.
Away you go. Yeah.
Tackle sheds.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Walk in. I'm just adding one more section, one more element to it, if that's cool. And it's in the front corner as you walk into the left, and it is effectively a shower base and shower.
Ooh, I know where you're going.
It's a washdown. It's a washdown area.
Yeah, washing facility.
It's actually there's a high-end version, which is effectively you put the rods and reels still pieced together, combo style, in a rack, close the door. It's kind of like a dishwasher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And dryer.
Temperature controlled room. We don't want fluorocarbon going shit because it's been out.
Well, there's no windows
light.
And shit.
No,
there's no daylight, no natural light.
Yeah,
because that so it's a controlled lighting setting that's not going to fuck your plackies or your fluorocarbon, as you say. And there's I don't know if it's been developed yet, but there is some sort of dust-proof mechanism that just, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter where you put anything these days, it gets fucking dust.
It gets shit on it. Yeah.
How? It's still one of life's absolute mysteries. Dust.
Having said that, though, if there was a slight dust issue, but you've got a washdown station, what if you got to a point where if you're washing and drying, you're getting all your tackle ready, just slap your rods and reels in the washdown thing, door closes, gives them a quick blast of warm water, throws the dryer over them.
Yep.
Dust doesn't matter. You're ready to go. Then start rigging up and getting ready.
Yep. Under the workbench is a section for reel maintenance. Just some basic lubes and sprays.
Yeah.
You need a bit of that. And then, just to round it off, I suppose the door is locked at all times and it is a fingerprint. So kids aren't getting in, the pesky family members, they don't need to be in there.
No.
You can lock it however you want. It could be a pin, it could be a fingerprint, it could be a facial recognition type situation.
Unlock on your phone, depending on what you've got in there. If your high end ones are going to be dual authentication. It's going to be retinal scanning and fingerprint.
I don't mind the app because it might be ads. Can you drop around to my joint on the way down to the boat ramp because I've forgotten XXX.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll open it up when you get there via app.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And I'll be alerted when you walk up. There'll be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little camera thing out the front that you
fucking
can
oath
see
there
what's
is.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, the fishing sheds are going to go nuts. So you heard
Pretty
it here
sure
first.
that's a thing.
Wow.
Pretty sure that's a thing.
It's a high-end setup too. It's a high-end
Well, it's as high end
setup.
as you want to make it.
Spooling machine?
On the high end one, yep.
Yeah, exactly. The
Comes
ones with
standard.
the ones with the dishwasher and
Get
shit.
your basic shed that'll just be set up to hold the
Yeah.
basic rod and reel and a bit of a rigging bench, but you got to have options.
Yeah, good. All right.
I like it.
Well, on that note,
Okay, so Luke, it's been a productive podcast so far. We've heard about what a tackle show looks like in Japan. We have soft launched the tackle shed.
mate,
I'm pretty excited by that.
I'm so excited by that.
Yeah, so that's happened. We got to talk tackle shops because
Yep.
if it's the one thing that's been the home away from home for us for a very long time is a tackle shop.
Yeah.
Talk me through what a Japanese tackle shop looks like. Any similarities to what you see down here? Are they the size of the MCG, or are we talking more old school walk-in shit everywhere type tackle shop?
It's a good question. I didn't know what to expect. All I knew was that there was some strong recommendations from people back here with where to go and what to have a look at while in Osaka. So there's a few key retailers, I suppose. There's one called Fishing 8, which is one of the biggest and best. Another one called Bun Bun, which is a very reputable retail brand over there in fishing, and another one called Fishing Max. And there's more, but they were the sort of three, if you get round to them, because they've got multiple sites. And So we did Fishing 8 first, and so these are just tackle stores. So they're not like a, Anaconda style box with camping, hiking apparel, all that sort of. It's fishing tackle.
Just fishing.
Size wise, they're big without being ridiculously big. So there was a couple that were bigger than others. So it wasn't a necessarily uniform size. There were a few that were a little bit smaller, but ultimately they're big stores. They're much bigger than most independent retailers here in Australia.
Yeah, okay. So serious operations.
Yeah. And the very first thing that I suppose I noticed was the stock depth. So much stock. So much product. So many SKUs. It's crazy, but it's also clearly justified because every store was the same. So it wasn't like we walked into the first one, you go, oh, Jesus, these guys have got inventory problems. It was amazing, the amount of product in these tackle stores, which was awesome, like for us sort of checking it out. So we've spoken on this show about Bass Pro. I've spent a couple of years going over there. The theatre of that is exceptional. Don't get that same sort of theatre from what we've seen from my visit in Japan. It's more about product. It's product, and it is everywhere. The range, I made a bold statement early in the trip that I thought the range was better than Bass Pro and deeper. Now, different. So obviously, the States are heavy into bass, especially sort of that southern market where we've spent most of our time. But these stores had everything and so much of it. I don't reckon you could walk into one of these stores. Again, my sample size is Osaka in a week. So there's lots of people listening that have spent way more time in Japan and travelled around. But what my takeaway was, you would be very hard pressed to walk out of these stores without finding what you wanted to. If that makes sense.
So from someone, well, your job, your existence is you are a buyer in the fishing tackle trade for one of the biggest buying groups that there is. I've done a little bit from independent store things, as you have as well. When we buy things for tackle shops, we tend to grab a catalogue, or a sales rep will come around, or we go to a trade show and we have a look at the X amount of sizes with X amount of colours, and we just go, we'll pick 4 or 6 colours, or we'll pick. Does it seem like that's going on in Japan, or it's a different sort of It's a different vibe. So say Rapala released a brand new lure range and it's got 12 colours. You don't pick the colours, you just go yes.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to say because obviously all the ranges, well, most of the ranges are a little bit different, so I can't tell whether. But yeah, it's a fair call. Like every product in every range, potentially. But it wasn't.
Imagine
So
how
I just want
a
to
tackle store would be if that was what was going on.
just had everything. Yeah. So I want to be clear too. Like it was to your original question. It wasn't a shit fight and mess everywhere. It was very neat, very orderly. There were some stores that
solid merchandising. They'd be good at merchandising, wouldn't they?
Mate, one of these stores we went into called Bun Bun was probably my pick of all the stores we went to. It had. Now these stores are heavily lured focused. Like there's more lures than anything else, as in, you know what I mean. So this particular wall of, and when I say terminal tackle, playing along at home, I'm talking hooks, swivels, rings, that sort of stuff.
Boring shit.
Pretty much this huge wall of this stuff, and mate, no empty pegs, nothing was out of order. I'm talking. I even tested it. I went through. I'm like, nah, this has got to be. This has got to be. I went through it, and it, you know, from size 1 to size whatever was perfectly in order. And I'm talking about a store that had a lot of foot traffic, like so many customers, and that's one day. I'm assuming that store gets hammered.
Yeah.
Stock depth was beautiful. No empty pegs, no messy walls, no shit on the floor. So I'm either, you know, and there was plenty of the team members on the floor working, but not excessive amounts. Geez, they're well drilled, I reckon. That's what it comes down to.
Seems like it. Seems like it would be.
I love that it was lure heavy because that's kind of what we love, but it's also what one of the categories I buy for. So I was kind of looking at that, and yeah, like I think it was a really great tackle store down to the bare bones of what a tackle store should be. And when I say that, I mean all of them combined. That's the summary I've got. From me and you and a lot of the community listening, we just love fishing gear. The theatre of Bass Pro is amazing, and it's wow, and I love it. I'll can't wait to go into another one. But in essence of what we love, these tackle stores in Japan were just perfect.
So let's talk Bun Bun because it's got a sweet name.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
What species and styles were they the most lure heavy in, or was it just a mixture of everything?
Definitely,
did they specialise in things?
It's definitely specialised in things, and you can see it as you go around. They've an amazing mix of all sorts of stuff, but squid is obviously huge. So there's mega walls of squid jigs in pretty much every brand you can think of that's relevant from a Japanese brand point of view. And then heaps of brands that I'd never heard of as well. But you know, they've also got heaps of the squid jigs that we would look at here and go, that's a bit shit. What's that for? But they've got
like
a purpose.
The drop shotting ones. And
shit. They've all got got a purpose, and they're all very, very popular in their own right. And then we spoke about rods before. There's not just a squid rod. There's a tip run squid rod. There's a egging squid rod. There's a mate.
I so hope we get there. I flat out love the idea of this, just from someone who absolutely is obsessed with fishing tackle.
Yeah.
I would love for us to get to a point. Obviously, we'd never have the depth of just pure brand and range because Australia's only so big. I would love it if recreational fishing got to a point where we were so invested as consumers that we wanted to get the most out of everything we're spending our hard-earned money on. And that means if we're going to spend $35 for a lure that's 65 mil long, I sure as shit want a rod that is specifically built to cast and handle that specific
I think we can have the width. I think we can have the width of range in Australia. We probably won't have the depth based on population,
numbers,
but the width could be there. The brands, like, let's get more of that stuff, I reckon.
Yeah.
So squid heavy, as I said before, Yamashita drives that category for that brand. Then it was kind of like what we would say blue water is a big category. But as I discovered, it's not a trolling or sort of fishery at all. You would, in fact, I don't think you will find any sort of what we would know as X-Rap 20s and 30s, Helco Laser Pros, nothing. It's stick baits, shitloads of stick baits, and the
Size?
best, everything from 120 mil to 250 mil.
Nice.
Poppers, plenty of, but stick baits, because a lot of this stuff over there is land based. You can catch kingfish, yellowfin tuna, sea bass, which is kind of, they sort of explained it like a hybrid of barramundi and mulloway, and I said, "Fucking take my money. That's all I want to do forever."
Yep, sign me up.
And then, like smaller stuff like, I suppose, Bonito and Taylor or whatever they are over there.
Yep.
But it's all, so much of it's land-based. The other big one, which, and I'd love to break this down. I don't think tonight's episode's where we're going to do it, but I want to break it down with you at some stage. The other big category is metal jigs.
Okay.
Huge. From micro jigs to 500 gram jigs. It's massive. What I want to break down with you is metal jigs in Australia. And I'll leave it there because I think...
but this is interesting. If they're majority land-based, why the fuck is there so many metal jigs?
Well, when it comes to the sort of the casting,
so if they are
aspect of it,
using are using boats, they want to be jigging, or is this like a shore jigging type arrangement?
There's definitely a shore jigging fishery, but there's clearly a boat deep dropping jiggery.
Jiggery.
Yeah,
you write that down.
Write that down.
Yeah, nice.
Jiggery fishery. So I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that. Didn't get that deep into it. I'd love to, and I am planning on 100% going back and actually fishing, because I think it fascinates me.
That'd be big time.
And then the soft plastic market, so sort of everything. You know what I mean? Like, so 2.5 inch, what we would recognise as a 2.5 inch grub for a brim.
Yep.
Right up to, I'll say, like, there were definitely some bigger plastics in that 7 inch plus, but the majority probably finished at about 6 inch as far as volume. And
was there lots of those little micros for like their aging and
so many,
just scad fishing basically?
Yep. So, and then chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, hard body jerk baits.
Worms, lots of plastic worms.
Yeah, lots of plastic worms. Hard bodies for everything from, like I said, trout, sea bass, brim. Like, so a lot of everything. The big one for me, which is not a lure, that I got completely blown away by, is what I look at and go, that's a sabiki rig.
Yep.
Dude, if there wasn't, and I'm trying not to exaggerate here, if there wasn't walls with 100 to 200 pegs of sabiki rigs that were 12 to 15 deep, I'll go, hey, I reckon I might be understating that. It was mental. And I don't really get it. As in, and again,
aren't they all the same?
Well, see, I question this with, again, Tom from Daiwa, who's now spent sort of a fair chunk of time there. And I said, mate, like, what's up with the sabiki rigs? Surely one will do. He's like, nah. People will have heaps, but they'll also have where they're fishing, what they're trying to catch, what sort of bait or whatever they're trying to catch. And if it's got to be the right feather, got to be the right colour feather, got to be the right bit of material. And
so picking a sabiki rig is like picking a lure colour.
100%. It's crucial.
Damn.
Yep. Which made me think,
Are we doing it wrong?
We've all had times where bait's a bit annoying when you're out of the bait grounds, whether it's marlin, kingfish, whatever you're chasing, big baits, small baits, and sometimes they're annoying. Usually, you can get a few, get enough. Maybe we're just not thinking enough about a sabiki rig. When was the last time you sat down and thought, all right, have we got green sabiki flashes? Yep. Yellow? No. All right, someone go and grab some yellows. Are we good for red? Yeah, got some red. Feathers, or is it tinsel? Oh, it's tinsel. Nah, we need feathers. Like, do you know what
we don't give a fuck about a lot of stuff, don't we? As a general rule of a fraternity of fishermen, We're very much it's got
Casual.
feathers on it. Who cares what colour it is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're only catching bait. Who gives a shit, mate? Just grab a sabiki, stick it on, and put a sinker on it. And drop it down.
even like, because I was thinking, it's because it's bait, and we're just like, it's just bait, but it's the thing we need most.
Yeah.
So why aren't we putting effort into that? But it also, like, I think it made me start thinking about all that style of rig, and I'm like, I suppose one of the more popular snapper pre-tied rigs would be the Black Magic Snapper Snatcher.
And
there's a bunch of colours. Have you ever thought about those colours?
No.
You grab what's available.
Literally only thought about it from the point where I've walked past the wall and gone, we're out of chartreuse and red ones. We better order some more of them. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And if you wanted to buy them, we're out of chartreuse and red ones. That's all right. I'll grab the blue and red one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, fuck, whatever.
Like, have we ever thought that actually thinking about that could impact the day's fishing result?
And that we should maybe, if we, relating it back to snapper snatchers is brilliant, is grabbing a snapper snatcher and not just literally chucking it in a tackle bag or in a boat going, I don't want to use this thing, but if I'm going to have to, looking after them, having colours, having the colour, like, I've got, chartreuse and red's okay, but I've got a couple of greens and I've got a couple of blue and reds. If stuff's not working, I'm going to change up. Like, we don't think about that at all. It's literally what you just grab.
Yeah. Like, have we ever thought that fishing the mid-north coast of New South Wales with a snapper snatcher could be a completely different colour to what we need in
Port Phillip Bay.
Yeah.
Nah. We don't care. We literally don't care.
And it might not make a pinch of difference, but have we ever thought about it?
Yeah.
Have we ever stopped for a second?
Right. That's right. Have we ever thought it could make a difference? That's the question. It's not that we don't give a shit. Have we ever thought that we should give a shit?
Yeah. And again, back to bait, is we want to catch, everyone wants slimies over yakkers if you had your choice.
Yeah.
Have you put much thought into what slimies want to eat? Now, there might be people out there, I'm sure there is, and maybe justified, going, what the fuck are you two talking about? But there's got to be something in it.
This is what the deep drop is.
I rate how Japan think about this stuff.
No, because, I think that's the difference. It's not so much the capability of the angler.
No.
It seems to be an attention to detail thing, as in, say, a Japanese recreational angler compared to an Australian recreational angler. Leaving options on the table's not an option. If you're going to take the time and spend the money to go fishing, why would you not be trying to fine-tune your thinking of how to catch them, even down to what feather your bait jig has?
100%.
We don't do that. It's not the way we think. It's like, it's just a fucking pre-tied rig with some feathers on it.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with what we're trying to represent, what we're trying to imitate, it's just, it's got a glow bead on it. It's the glow bead over the feathers. How many times have you heard that with a snapper snatcher? Or feathers don't mean shit, it's just the glow bead above.
The only thing I reckon that we would ever consider when purchasing a sabiki rig would be the size of the hook.
Yes.
But all you need, dude, the amount of options. This is the other thing. It's like these manufacturers, and I think one of the big players there is Hayabusa.
Yep.
They just dominate that rig market, and there are, their catalogue must be enormous because there are thousands of SKUs. It is wild.
I would love to sit down the product and development department of Hayabusa and go, okay, talk to me about sabikis.
You might be there for hours.
Because it doesn't look like what is there, like the breaking strain of the line. Do we give a fuck?
Yeah.
Well, apparently we should.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's wild.
And to the untrained eye, clearly me, they're all pretty much the same. Now, I know there's hook differences and colour differences, but there must be intricacies about the materials,
Yep. It'd have to be, otherwise they wouldn't exist.
Yeah. And I can't stress to you enough. I can't even explain how many were in these stores. It's walls and walls and walls of them.
if a consumer walked in, like a local, walked into a Japanese tackle shop and asked old mate behind the counter, just ducking down to the jetty, need a couple of sabikis. I wonder what the following conversation sounds like.
There'd have to be conversation around and I'm making this up, right? I feel like there'd be conversation around what time are you going? What do you need to catch? Not what do you want to catch, what do you need to catch? What is it you're trying to catch? Okay, what's your main line? Like, do you know what I mean? Like what? And then they'd go, okay, just checking tides and currents. Like assuming tides and currents are on a bit of paper. The moon, like, I don't know. Is it every element and every factor? Because,
well, it feels like it would be because there's so much to choose from when it comes to a sabiki rig. If someone came into an Australian tackle shop and said, "I need a bait jig," you'd be like, "You're on the back wall, mate."
Back wall, mate. Just grab. Well, which and then it'd be, which should I get? Whatever, mate. What have we got most of? Grab one of those
just
ones.
Grab whatever. They're all the same. Whereas if someone came into an Australian tackle shop going, heading over to the river, gonna want to chuck a few hard bodies around for brimbos, we're like, yeah, okay, cool. Okay, well, if the water's a bit, we can use this colour and this depth, and if they're chewing to... They'd have to go into that detail with sabikis, wouldn't they?
I feel like they'd have to. There's got to be a reason there's so many.
Yes. It can't just be, they're on the back wall, mate.
I did ask a question at one point about, I sort of said, what's the difference? And I kind of just got nodded at. I don't think he knew what I was saying.
Mate, you just got to, I know speaking English because he couldn't be fucked.
He couldn't be fucked. But it was kind of like, what's the difference between them and them over there and that over there? And it was kind of like, I think he knew what he was saying because what I was saying, because he sort of suggested. It was kind of the takeout I got was species, but
yeah.
But even that, though, the rig itself seemed very similar to that one. So unless they just go, that's for scad, that's for mackerel, that's for...
Yeah.
But they're all triple-faced. I don't know. Anyway, it's mind-blowing.
It's awesome.
But the other part of that same sort of concept in this is for that, is their squid jig ranges. Now, we know there are variations we have here, which I don't know how seriously it get taken either, but like a heavy or a light, probably about as detailed as we get when it comes to...
And you're lucky if we probably care too much. We're happy to go and lose $60 worth of jigs on the rocks fishing a standard over a shallow.
Yeah.
Fuck it, they're all the same, mate.
Their breakdown of techniques and styles is phenomenal. And to be fair, it's even mapped out. Like there's even sort of, material to read onto why tip run jig is for this, and there's pictures showing how to work them. Artificial jigs for fishing under floats, as opposed to just slap that jig on, mate. It's fine. You know what I mean? So
are their squid harder to catch than southern calamari?
I've no idea. No idea. Oh, you reckon they're smarter?
Well,
maybe.
Or are they more pressured?
Yeah, that's a good question. Don't know.
Because even just take the squid jig thing and the squid jig craze, and craze when it was going mental down here is well and truly gone. It's gone. Don't try and tell me. No one cares. They've got a white one, a black one, and a red one. We've been through this on the show before. Yeah. You cruise around in 3 to 6 meters of water over some broken ground, and you dangle either your white jig, your black jig, or your red jig. You dangle that around, and you either catch them or you don't, and it's pretty much as deep as we go with it.
Yeah.
Are we leaving a lot of squid on the table?
Maybe, but we're also not having any trouble catching squid, if that makes sense.
No, but that's what I mean. Are theirs harder to catch?
Yeah,
Are they having trouble catching squid, so they have to...
Do you remember the craze? During the craze, there was this big hype on a brand called Gancraft, and how it was the greatest brand and huge in Japan.
$40 a pop.
Didn't see any. Yeah. No stores had them. Did we get? Was it one of the greatest dupes of all time? This is the greatest brand ever in Japan. Didn't see it. Oh, I almost was tempted to ask, but yeah. Anyway, so it does. I don't know. I don't think it exists.
It's weird.
Good marketing. Well played.
But,
So,
you know what I mean? Like even
Yeah,
talking about that, could we be a hell of a lot more efficient? And calamari aren't hard to catch.
yeah.
But again, it's well documented on this podcast how many times is every single time we go squid fishing, we expect to catch 10.
Yeah. Yep. Anything less is a fail.
Anything less, it's been a shit
Or
session.
it feels a bit. Yeah. Yeah.
So is it because we're just blasé about just I've got a white one, it'll do.
Maybe. I think it'd be different if we were struggling as a community to get squid. We'd be going, and then you'd come over back from there, and go, shit, we're doing it all wrong. But we're not.
If we were struggling to catch squid,
Yeah.
there's two options what would happen in this country, and I want you to give me your honest answer.
Okay.
We would research, knuckle down, demand that our tackle stores get specific jigs and we'll learn how to catch them. Or, fuck squid, they're dead to us.
Option B.
There's none left.
Option B.
That's exactly
That's what would happen.
I mean.
That's what would happen.
It's exactly what would happen.
There's none left. They don't exist.
Yeah, no, we fished them out.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it wouldn't be our fault. We'd blame something else. It's full moon all the time.
Commercial guys.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. I mean, we could go on around this because every fishery there looks at all that, like torn apart, ripped apart, trout, bass. Bass is interesting. There was a good product ranges of bass gear. Yet the sentiment, and after talking to a few people over there, is that bass is nowhere near as popular as it once was. And the reason for it is because and this is a very loose sort of take on it, but that there seems to be a bit of a vibe that they're a pest species and we shouldn't celebrate introduced species. So they're not as now.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Get it.
It's still a very, very popular species to target, but far from what it was. On the flip side, and again, as Australians, sort of, those that are living there and certainly in the industry, they've got one of the best bream fisheries in the world, but they're hardly targeted because they're not.
Why?
Because they're not rated as a table fish.
Okay, so is
at any given time around like urban rivers and stuff, or you'll again, from all accounts, you're in a very, very good opportunity to catch multiple fish in the 40s.
And they're not targeted because they don't eat well.
They're targeted, but very small. It's not a big market.
It's not a thing. So, if you were to tell them that recreational fishing for us was built on where you're from, so in our state, that recreational fishing, a huge part of it's catch and release, would they just laugh at you?
Well, let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure. I feel like a lot of fishing is for a feed. Like I said earlier, there was the kids section where kids get to try and catch a trout, cool, and then take it home. So, which is cool.
And culturally, they do consume a hell of a lot more seafood than our country could ever even dream of. And yes, when I say where we're from, it isn't built on catch and release. It's not true. I'm saying it's a big part of the culture of fishing down here, whereas the whole essence of fishing is to catch and eat.
Yeah.
And that exists here, but we have a huge part that's catch and release.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that part, and without sort of, again, spending much time fishing, we actually was saying it, and it was cold. It was sort of, I guess it's winter. It was snowing on us at one point, but I wouldn't mind being there in a really good season. Not so much for the fishing, don't get me wrong, I definitely would, but just to mingle with anglers on the shore and the banks of the rivers or on the piers and jetties, and just because you soon pick up that vibe of why we're here for. Are we having fun, or are we taking it seriously, or what are we doing?
That's a great question. That'd be interesting to see. And I wonder how many people, like if in their peak season for catching squid, how many people are we talking about?
Don't know.
Because we get times down here, like if the Mornington Pier goes mental for calamari. You can't get a spot. You can't get a spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine
Which I'm sure it would be like that in peak season.
Yeah.
But on an average, not quite going nuts, but in season, on an average, half reasonable Saturday afternoon. Weather-wise, I wonder how many people, or if the kingfish are going nuts off the rocks.
Yeah,
how
or
many people?
Is it still relatively nichey, like how
Yeah,
here it is?
yeah.
But I doubt it. Seeing the ranges and the volume of product, it must be pretty popular. But
And I wonder how reliable it is.
don't know.
I wonder if you're grinding away trying to work out a pattern to get half a dozen for the season.
Yeah,
Or is it just like, if we don't get 4 today, this is shit.
Yeah, maybe. So to summarise the stores for me were jam-packed, heavy in stock, in a good way, because it's not my inventory I need to worry about. Like ranges for everything and everything relevant. And I feel like a lot of so I sort of said before about terminal, line, it's there's solid ranges, but it's not excessive. It's like, this is what we need to carry for the customers, and that's all we will. And then everything else is lures. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. I found a swim bait. I found a timber swim bait locked in a cabinet, or there were a bunch of them, that I sort of did the maths on the price, which equated to about $900 Australian.
Yes.
Yeah, imagine chucking that at a cod and just hitting timber first cast and just losing it.
Fuck. How do they display their reels?
Similar to here, glass cabinets lit up.
Locked?
No, not really. Like there were some obviously glass cabinets locked, and the bulk of the sort of higher end stuff was, but even the mid to not just your entry level, even some mid level stuff was kind of just sitting on different forms of displays. Some they just hang and you can grab them off and have a play with them or whatever. So, with the amount of stock in these stores, I must admit it did cross my mind about what sort of theft problems they have. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're such a respectful community. I wouldn't surprise me if people just don't steal.
There just is none.
That might be a crazy thing to say, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's interesting. Rods?
Yeah.
Is it just
rods?
random,
Now this is interesting.
Not uniform wooden racks with some rods scattered in them?
95% of rods are in boxes or rod tubes or in rod, like the bags. So they're not on display out of their bags, if that makes sense.
Oh.
So there might be 1 or 2 rod racks in each store that have rods out that you can pick up and do the thing with that we sort of do for no reason here in Australia.
Wave it around and bend it on the ground and stuff. Yeah.
But the rest are on display in bags. So travel bag, the bags you buy.
The bags that comes in.
Yep. Some are in box, some are boxed. And when I sort of asked some people about it, it was because there's this whole, it's like a proud thing for the store teams to grab the rods, unbox them, unwrap them, and then present them to the customer for even just to try, just to sample.
Ah.
Yeah. It's very, very different, and it's a very different mindset to wrap your head around that they're
Imagine
not
doing
on display.
that every time someone wanted to look at a rod.
Yeah, and maybe there's less of that, and it's more just come in and buy because they've done their research.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was a standout because you go, well, wow, like the whole back wall is just rods in, but they're all in the right place, and it's very much like I said before with squid, eggy fishing, tip run fishing. Land-based 8 foot, you know what I mean? Like all just
so cool.
Yeah, and then everything else, obviously. So the exception to that was probably the game, or some of the real heavy rods. There'd often be a rack of them. I don't know, but yeah,
So
pretty cool. Yeah, very cool. Great to go and experience that and check it out. Loved. Yeah, like I said, the width and depth of range was awesome. Brands were cool. Like I said before, is kind of brands that are big here but not necessarily take up a lot of space, like Jackal, massive, is absolutely massive in Japan. Megabass has a big presence. Duo, typically, not surprised,
anyway.
The Japanese brands were of a big presence over there. So really, really cool to see. Certainly bought a few bits and pieces. I didn't go too crazy, but just brought some plastics that I will use and aren't available here. Just why not?
Awesome. So cool.
But we got to get over there, Ads. We got to get over there.
Yes, we do. We got to go there, and I want to suss out the brim fishing,
dude. Just we are outside of the fishing stuff. Food's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a good joint for food.
Food's unbelievable. People are unbelievable. They're clean.
Vending machines, lots of vending machines.
Heaps of vending machines
vending
for
machines.
Ice cream, beer, coffee, whatever you want. Yep. Clean, dude. Cleanest city I've ever been to. And bidets.
Hell yeah.
But no, it was good, awesome. And listen, I could talk about this for a long time. I think the deep drop tours Japan is what I'm saying.
Oh, it's just pencil it in.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
let's make it happen. I hope that's kind of giving you some of what you wanted. This was your show. You took over the show tonight.
I love this.
We got somewhere.
I love this shit. I'm endlessly fascinated how things get done over there because we're still so young in this space of fishing. We've just spoken about and I won't even say how far behind. We're not far behind. We have access. We've got all of these things. We're not we're not far behind. We just tend to not dial in our fishing experience as much as what we physically could, and I would dearly love for it to get there.
Yeah, it's the she'll be right attitude.
Yes,
I wonder if we go fishing with some locals there, and just to test the waters, we start going through. They start going through their tackle, going, okay, this is what we're going to use, and you just reach in and grab one, and they look at you, and you just go, she'll be right.
Yeah, they look at each other and go, he's not going to catch nothing.
Yeah, or just get out of this boat.
Yeah,
you're not welcome here. You might be banned from the trip.
Yeah,
should be right, mate.
Yeah, you rock up to a pier and they get in there like squid jigs ready, and you're like, oh, got a white one? And they're like, dude.
Well, yeah, but what sort?
Why?
You go, oh, just white.
It's white.
White. No, but what do you want it to do? I don't know. Just sink.
2.5. Like,
yeah. Do I tie that on or just use a clip?
Yeah, that's right.
Excuse me.
Got any clips?
Because I'm going to chop and change colours. I just can't be fucked.
Yeah. So are we gonna get 10 and 15 casts or?
Yeah.
Well, you said it was good over here.
Yeah. Grab a rod, just any.
Yeah. You got a 7 foot 2 piece for 2 to 4 kilo.
Yeah. And imagine just grabbing the wrong one and just sort of, and it just, you just even fishing with it, and they just sit back watching you, just going, this guy. Fucking strange. He's got no idea.
Do you reckon they snap many jigs off on the cast?
I can't imagine they would.
No,
I think their knots would be so perfect.
Yeah, and it wouldn't just be a back-to-back uni.
I can picture a jig flying off on the cast and just hearing that snap, and the angler just packing up.
There'd be silence, and you're like,
head down, just walk home.
You're just thinking in your head, oh, we're done here, aren't we?
Yeah, and then that angler the whole way walking home to go, how am I going to explain this to my wife?
We lost
I'm
18
a failure.
jigs. We lost 18 jigs today. We're getting snagged on every second one.
Yeah.
I told you 2.5, mate. These threes keep getting snagged.
Can you imagine how offensive it would be snagging and you just grabbing the spool and just yanking it back?
Yeah, putting it right at it. Doing the line flick, trying to get it off. They're looking at you going, what are you doing? No, it really works. It really works.
Get snagged here, and you're just like, there's another one gone. Chuck us another white one, can you?
Yeah, I told you. Can you retie the leader for me?
Yeah. I don't think, the more we say it, I don't think we'll fit in over there fishing. But we'll give it a fucking crack.
We should definitely try.
Sure. Let's do it. Hey, great trip. And I love the feedback from the community who reached out while I was away. Plenty of community members have spent some time in Osaka, Adam. So there was lots of advice on where to go and what to do.
Nice.
And I can't wait to go back, mate. Can't wait to go back.
Can I come?
Absolutely. Let's go. Let's go right now. See you, everyone.
Peace.